Great say. Adonai, our God, show favor towards your people and lovingly receive these our prayers. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable to you, for you alone do we hold in reverence. And we give thanks to you, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation in every generation. So we thank you and we recite your praises. Let all the living affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha v'lecha ne'eh lehodot. We're going to close out our service, this part of our service, with Shalom Rav, asking for a proliferation of peace in our lives.
Shalom Rav. Shalom. Shalom.
Please take a few moments to make your own silent offerings of prayer or meditation.
Oh, say, shalom. Travel to my days where all is right. Travel to Israel.
So, two construction workers, an Irishman and a Jew, are building a skyscraper in New York. And they're sitting on a beam having lunch, just in the way you've seen the photographs, the black and white photographs, when the Irishman takes out his sandwich and says, "I can't believe it. My wife gave me another goddamn corned beef sandwich. If she does this again, I'm going to jump off this building." And then the Jewish guy takes out his lunch and he says, "Egg salad. Damn it. I find one more egg salad sandwich in my lunch. I'm going to jump off this building." The next day, the Irishman takes out his sandwich and he sees that it is in fact corned beef and he says, "Enough's enough," and he jumps. And the Jewish guy takes out his sandwich, discovers it's egg salad, and he says, "I can't take it anymore," and he jumps. Soon after, reporters go to the wife of the Irishman, and she says plaintively, "I don't understand. If he had only told me he didn't want corned beef, I would have made something else for him." And the reporters go to the Jewish guy's wife, who says, "I don't understand that man. Every day he made his own lunch." This marvelous joke highlights the Jewish penchant for self-inflicted problems. And since it's St. Patrick's Day, when we honor Irish ethnicity and think about the old Irish country in the world, the only Irish country in the world, it seems like a good time to leave off our usual exploration of Torah and Jewish spirituality and how it intersects with our word, to focus instead on the Jewish state, its self-inflicted problems, and how much we hate egg salad. So look there's been more than one Jewish commentator who has seen an affinity between the Irish experience and the Jewish experience, both because we have an enormous and creative diaspora, but also because we think plaintively and longingly about a much afflicted homeland that we worry about. So I won't, the Jewish, the Irish state. What are we dealing with here? So first of all, we have centuries of a much hated British rule over the island. And then there was the Easter Rebellion, and gradually out of that, 1921 was the formation of the Free State Agreement, of which about half the Irish hated and wanted to kill the other half for having agreed to it. And then gradually out of that emerged the Irish Republic, and then all the troubles. And their government, well, what is it like? Their government has been difficult, entirely at the behest of a very retroactive thinking Irish Roman Catholic Church. It's been terrorist adjacent. It's been all these things. But the most important thing we need to remember is that Irishmen have never lost their affection for Ireland, because it's more than just a government. It's more than just a state. It's a place and a state of mind. So let's talk now in similar terms about the Jewish state, which quite frankly is in tumult. So the biggest thing going on that everybody is seeing in the news is this idea of some kind of judicial revisions of how the judiciary in Israel functions. Now, if you're a little more pro-Netanyahu and his government, you'll call it judicial reform. If you read the Jewish press that is a little more anti-Netanyahu, they'll call it the judicial upheaval or the judicial disaster or something like that. What's it all about? The base issue, from my perspective, and is my perspective only, Bibi Netanyahu, who's now Israel's longest governing PM, though he comes in and goes out of favor, is really primarily concerned at this stage in his political career of avoiding going to jail. Israel has a very long and honorable history of prosecuting, convicting, and incarcerating its former heads of state. So Bibi is actually in real jeopardy. To prevent this, he has created a government coalition made out of that genuine thing that we debated here in America a couple of cycles ago, a basket full of deplorables. All the most reprehensible Jewish politicians in Israel, convicted felons, racists, people who hate open society, civil society, constitutional restraints. These are his coalition. The result is that Bibi is pushing his and their agenda to neuter the independence of the Israeli judicial system. Doing so will, in the short term, save Prime Minister Netanyahu from being prosecuted and quite possibly going to jail. In the long term, many are concerned that it will make it easier for there to be a tyranny of the majority. This is important because Israel's demographic profile is shifting. It's, first of all, becoming more orthodox. More and more religious Jews make up its population, people who actually have no investment in democracy. And it's also moving towards an electorate that is more firmly Middle Eastern in its worldview, with all the dimensions that you can imagine that to be, which means they tend more towards political extremism and away from the Western traditions of equality before the law, limits on government, and the general idea of open society. And they're maybe trending a little bit more towards the illiberal governments like Syria and Iran. These are a little bit more perhaps to their idea of how government should work. The result is a huge culture war going on. A tiny country, Israel, has seen multiple protests of hundreds of thousands of people pouring out into the streets to oppose this judicial revision. And many political figures, prominent people, past and current, are actually actively resisting implementation of what they see to be a radical change in Israeli government. Several of the leaders, because of this, have fallen. The coalition has lost a number of significant battles. Convicted criminal Ari Deri has had to leave the government. Radical anti-LGB, anti-Arab demagogue Avi Moaz has been forced to step down too. They have not made a great deal of progress with their agenda, but the Bibi campaign to neuter the judiciary continues to this day. So what are we to make of this, we Jews of the diaspora? Should we, like the construction worker, take a leap from the metaphorical Zionist building because we don't like the metaphorical egg salad that's being offered us in the land of Israel? I don't think we have to go that far. We need to remember, first of all, that Israel is not merely the government of Israel. And as a matter of fact, it's not primarily the government of Israel. Irish Americans have seen multiple Irish governments that they have found distasteful, terrorist adjacent, and all kinds of things in thrall of the church. And yet they retain their affection for their homeland. And I see no reason that we shouldn't do the same. And whatever the short-term discomfort, we need to realize the many ways that this current crisis could play out. Bibi could compromise, though right now, I'm not sure that's very likely. But you got to realize his personal fate is at stake. And we Americans, we're sort of familiar with politicians who will set aside the national good for their personal well-being. So we understand what's happening here. The government coalition could collapse. It's done it multiple times in the past 5 years. And there are already voices in Bibi's own party who feel that he has given too much power to radicals on the right. This legislation could pass, but being a parliamentary government, it could be reversed at a future date by another coalition who doesn't like it. And I'll be honest with you, as of now, I think the long-term demographic trends in Israel tend to lean towards the religious chauvinists and the more hardcore hostility to Israel's minorities. But I will tell you, as a 50-year observer of the state of Israel, making any long-term predictions about where Israel is going is ultimately a fool's game. It is remarkable the number of sudden, dramatic pivots, wars, immigration, assassinations, strange goings-on, political, social, cultural shifts of cosmic proportion happen with extraordinarily common impact upon this country. It is, and I'll stand by this, the most dynamic nation state I can think of. It is undergoing constant and often radical change. So if we're sitting up on the top of the building and we're uncomfortable right now, we don't like the lunch that has been served us, don't jump. Sit tight. Jews, we can change our mind. Maybe next time we go, we'll make ourselves a corned beef sandwich and everything will be right in the world. It's a little bit like the weather in Texas. The one constant is that it will constantly change dramatically. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to just sit back and, uncomfortable as it is, just eat your egg salad. And let's see what gets served to us tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom. So it's time for our announcements. I believe Miss Becky, our treasurer, is going to do the announcements for us.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, Congregation Kol Ami. Happy Friday. Happy everything. Congratulations. Tomorrow will be fantastic. No worries. So we start with our announcements. We have a feminine hygiene drive going on right now. It's in conjunction with the Denton's Friends of the Family. This will run through April 14th. Please help us by donating feminine products. You all know what they are. I'm not going to go through the list that's on here. Sorry, Bob. Please know reusable products. You can drop your donations off in the lobby or with Bob. And if you have any questions, please just contact the VP of Tikkun Olam, Melissa Trapani. Also, our community Seder will be coming up. It's April 6th at 6:30. It's open not only to our members, but the community at large. It's really one of the most special events that we hold each year, and we do look forward to it. If you are planning on being there, please use the website to RSVP so we can establish a head count. Please be sure to sign up to help out or bring an item for our potluck. We depend on everybody attending to help make this a very special event. We hope to see you there. We are also hosting another blood drive. This will be coming up on April 22nd. It will go from noon until 4 p.m. Once again, there's a sign-up link for this on our website, and each hero donation can help up to 3 people. Every little drop, of course, will help. It all counts. We also are offering group tickets for the Rough Riders. The tickets are available for the April 8th game at 7:05 p.m. against the Amarillo Sod Poodles. Yes, you heard me, Sod Poodles. It is their opening weekend, and you can find the registration link for this both in the blast or, of course, on the website, which is where everything is, and you should always start there. As always, we want to wish those in need of healing or a helpful hand. And before I say the Mishaberach Lift, does anybody has a name they would like to add to it as I go across the room, feel free to raise a hand and I'll count you in.
Dora Gondanas.
Thank you.
Forgot my aunt's name.
Yeah, Adrian. Calling you out. Thank you.
Laura Overton, Sarah Moore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Arlene Paglia.
Thank you. To that list, we'd also like to add Joyce Bloom, Natalie Bovino, George Cavanis, Mark Davis, Nancy Ennerman, Harry Ennerman, Francine Feingold, Michelle Griffith, Molly Kalig, John Kaufman, Deb Kaufman, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Gianna LaMonica, Al Landon, Deb Ledden, Matt Levin, Phyllis Lorelei, Paxton Luck, Jane Mobley, Doug Peterbaugh, Lynn Peterbaugh, Paul Redwood Jr., Helen Rubel, Adrian Sandler, Dale Seaver, Beth Van Cycle, Happy Waterman, Karen Weinstein, Barry Weinstein, and Tom Wolf. If you'll join me for the Misha Bayrock, which is on the back of the announcements or on page 79 of our prayer book.
Misha Bayrock, the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say amen. We shall obtain before our with every wash lame on the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, amen.
It's been my habit for quite some time to just spontaneously pull someone out of the congregation to come on up and open the ark with me for the Aleinu. So I've been doing this long enough that the regulars should come with a regular sense of foreboding and dread that I'm going to call on to, but sometimes it's more obvious than others. So I think I'm going to ask David and his family, in honor of his bar mitzvah, to come on up here and be recognized before the ark. And I'm going to invite everyone else to please rise, and we're going to turn to page 82. Come on up, folks. And Maria, you come on over here. Put David next to me and Eric over there, and the two of you go ahead and open the door. Exactly. Ready, young man? Please be seated, everyone. Bayom Pahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushamo, Echad. Our lives, O God, are in your hands. In you we trust. Whatever may be our destiny, we know that you will be waiting there for us. And though we may never fathom the mysteries of life and death, we know of your gift of life, which each of us treasures. So no matter what the final end, let us rejoice in the sweetness of the past and our faith in the life to come. There will we find you, your love, and your blessing. And so it is, we take time now at the end of our service to think about those individuals who passed away, whether they've passed away in recent weeks or whether they've passed away at this season in years past. So I'm going to begin by asking, is there anybody here observing Shiva? Anyone who's lost a loved one in the last week? If you share the name with us, we'd like to include you in our prayers. Toby. Thank you. Shloshim, we've had no report in the congregation of anyone who's passed away in the past month. But if you have a loved one or someone you care about who's died in the last 30 days, please share the name with us. Richard. Thank you. Thank you. This week in our congregation, we want to honor these yard sites, these anniversaries of death to people connected to us. Elaine Berkowitz, Morton Feldman, Floyd McCoy III, Maribel Sherry Nagel, Lori Rubel, Etta Schmerler, Max Schmerler, and Jack Wallach. Is there anyone else who has a yard site in their family, please? Thank you. Thank you. The memory of all these people are here with us now. And we not only want to honor these people who have passed from our lives, but we also want to show our sympathy for those who continue to mourn for them. So we invite you to turn to page 85. And please, if able, please rise to recite the Mourner's Kaddish with us. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'galal uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'elam Ulamei Amaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kutsha B'richu Olam Minkol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechemata V'amiran Be'elma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Mim Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mroma, hu yasei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. Now, Tanya and I agreed that we were going to do a Don Olam, but I'm wondering, maybe she could do it to the tune of Danny Boy.
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm impressed. I totally set you up for that. And you stepped right into it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. No, I think we'll do the more traditional Yeki version. If you go to page 93, or if you need If you need transliteration, page 94 for Adon Olam, Sovereign of the Universe. And off we go.
Adon Olam Asher Malach V'Terem Kol Yetzir Nifra Li'ed Nasa V'Cheso Kol Sana Shemo Nifra Adon Olam Hare Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora Adon Olam Hu Hayam Hu Hare Hu Batifara Adon Olam Echad Ve'ein Sheni Laham Shelo Lahachbira Adon Olam Reshit Believe Hachli Below Ha'os V'Ha'isra Adon Olam Hu Eli V'Ha'oli V'Tzura Gbi Tzara Adon Olam Hu Nisi Umanosli Menakosi B'Yom Ephra Adon Olam B'Yamdo Afki Bruti Be'et Tishan Be'a'ira Adon Olam Be'im Bruti Geviyati Adonai Li V'Lo Ira Adon Olam V'Terem Kol Yetzir Nifra Li'ed Nasa V'Cheso Kol Azayim Melech Shemo Nifra Adon Olam. Well, that was the German version, but inflected, I'd say, with the Drifters. So that was fantastic. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And of course, join us for our Oneg.